IYO SKY and Rhea Ripley get new names ahead of WWE Evolution 2025. IYO SKY and Rhea Ripley are set to headline WWE's upcoming premium live event, Evolution 2025. The duo has been crowned with new names ahead of the same. The Genius of the Sky and Mommy are two of the most popular names in the WWE Women's division. The Japanese star has a perfect win record against Ripley and even defeated the latter to kickstart her Women's World Championship reign. The duo also put on great performances at WrestleMania 41, where Sky defended her title against Bianca Belair and Rhea in a triple threat match. IYO SKY was allowed to choose her opponent for Evolution, and she decided to go with Rhea Ripley. It was recently announced that the two will headline the women-exclusive premium live event. Following the announcement, Mommy shared an old video of herself with IYO from their days in NXT. She also called herself and the Genius of the Sky main event mammoths. Former WWE star believes Rhea Ripley could beat IYO SKY at Evolution 2025. While Mommy has not been able to get the better of IYO SKY in their meetings inside the squared circle so far, former WWE star Aiden English believes that things could turn out differently for the Eradicator this time. However, English noted that he would like to see Rhea turn heel if she wins the Women's World Championship. Here's my problem with it. They might put it back on Rhea Ripley. I don't think it is locked, though. My problem is I'm a little bored of Rhea and IYO SKY, especially when they're both kind of babyface. Unless this is a heel turn for Rhea, which would make an exciting change for her character, English said. Rhea Ripley has been the biggest star of the WWE's women's division over the last few years. However, she has always failed to get a win over IYO SKY. She will be hoping to change the record at Evolution 2025, aside from winning back the Women's World Championship that she lost before WrestleMania 41. WWE Evolution 2025 main event confirmed. The WWE Evolution 2025 main event has now been confirmed, with a top championship match set to headline the all-women's premium live event. With Evolution set to emanate from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia on July 13, we now know which match will go on last. IYO SKY vs Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship will be the main event of Evolution, as confirmed by Wade Barrett on the July 11 SmackDown episode. While giving a rundown of the full match card, Barrett said, "And arguably the two best female wrestlers on planet Earth are colliding in the main event with gold on the line. Women's World Champion IYO SKY defends against the powerhouse, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Sky unseated Ripley on the road to WrestleMania, thanks in part to the presence of Bianca Belair at ringside. When the three superstars squared off in a show-stealing triple threat match on the grandest stage of them all, the Genius of the Sky emerged with the victory to retain her title. Since then, Ripley has been on a tear that includes a hard-earned win against Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight at WWE Night of Champions. When Sky was asked against whom she wanted to defend her title at the historic second WWE Evolution event, she said that she wanted to face the best and challenged the Eradicator to a one-on-one showdown. Here's the announced card for WWE Evolution 2025. 3 finishes for IYO SKY vs Rhea Ripley, Women's World Championship, at WWE Evolution. Rhea Ripley is set to challenge IYO SKY for the Women's World Championship in what will presumably be the main event of WWE Evolution this Sunday and wrap up a blockbuster wrestling weekend. Ripley was awarded the title shot at the request of Sky, and while there has been no significant build to the match since the announcement on Raw last week, neither woman was even present on Raw this week. Their conflict has been brewing since the beginning of the year. Sky and Ripley seemingly have a ton of respect for one another despite their differences escalating on the road to WrestleMania. Nevertheless, despite Ripley's otherworldly popularity with the fans, discourse regarding a possible heel turn this summer seems to be growing, especially considering that Sky beat Ripley for the title in the first place. With the lack of build leading up to their match at Evolution, it seems as though the feud will extend to SummerSlam, with something major expected to occur to spice up the picture. Keeping in mind all this and more, in this article, we shall explore 3 potential finishes for IYO SKY vs Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship at WWE Evolution, with whatever happens setting the tone for a potential SummerSlam clash between these two titans. IYO SKY could defeat Rhea Ripley, and Ripley might not turn heel, for now. Considering Sky's underdog role and Ripley's stature, the WWE Universe is unlikely to boo her even if Ripley is the more popular star among fans. Given the size difference, it would also not make sense for Sky to pin Ripley clean following her moonsault finish. Sky will likely use her speed to catch Rhea Ripley off guard and roll her up for the win. While the WWE Universe would expect some sort of handshake or peace treaty between the two after that match, Ripley may or may not be receptive to it. After all, she considers herself the alpha of the women's division. She may accept IYO SKY's peace proposition or reject it, but if the plan is to build to a rematch at SummerSlam, Ripley may wait until the Raw that follows to strike. Ripley may be conflicted at Evolution and do her best to fight her demons, but her frustration may be too much for her to handle, and a heel turn on the following Raw would be one of the biggest moments of the year. Number 2. IYO SKY could defeat Rhea Ripley, leading to her heel turn after the match. As aforementioned, the finish to the match could be somewhat similar in this case, too, with IYO SKY pulling a quick one on Rhea Ripley for the win to retain her title. However, instead of being conflicted or trying to battle through her emotions, Rhea Ripley may snap in the aftermath of the main event itself. To be embarrassed on a stage as massive as the main event of WWE Evolution may be too much for Ripley to handle. She may have respect for IYO SKY, but Mommy has her pride too, and clearly believes that the Women's World Championship belongs to her, and so does the number 1 spot. Finally, Evolution, with the lack of hype leading into the show for all the various reasons, needs not just fantastic matches, but a moment that stands out from the weekend that also involves AEW All In, which may see Hangman Adam Page win the AEW World Championship, and a stacked Saturday night's main event card featuring Goldberg's retirement match. Unless WWE is planning one of the biggest returns of all time at Evolution, Ripley's heel turn remains the best bet to grab all the headlines coming out of this weekend. The biggest and most beloved female star in the world turning heel at an event as historic as Evolution would be a moment forever etched in WWE history. Rhea Ripley could turn heel and defeat IYO SKY to win the Women's World Championship. Besides the NXT Women's Championship, no other singles title seems likely to change hands at Evolution. While WWE may delay Rhea Ripley's heel turn and title win, Evolution needs to compensate for the lack of buzz it has heading into the show, not just by the quality of wrestling on Sunday, but the buzz coming out of it. So, what if Ripley turns heel tomorrow night to win the title instead of doing it out of frustration in the aftermath? As a heel, Rhea Ripley doesn't need to cheat to beat IYO SKY at Evolution. She just needs to brutalize her in a fashion that begins to make the WWE Universe uncomfortable about what their favorite woman on the roster is doing to one of their other favorites, but also a resilient underdog champion with the heart of a lion. In the quest to regain her title, Mommy could become so ruthless that fans may be implored to start booing her solely based on her body language and aggression. It is hard to boo megastars like Rhea Ripley, as we have witnessed over the past few years with stars such as Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. They are just too big as stars and too damn good at their jobs. WWE's biggest stars have established their own characters to the point they have ceased to fit in as traditional babyfaces and heels. At Evolution, Mommy wouldn't be cheating to win or turning on the fans, at least until the fans begin to turn on her and that causes her to slowly become more dastardly and merciless. She will just be being herself, but with newfound aggression, with the sole goal of getting back on top. Whether that leads to a rematch with Sky at SummerSlam or something different remains to be seen, but Evolution, Mommy's message may be as simple as this: this is my brutality. The Women's World title will be on the line at WWE Evolution, so the champion IYO SKY and challenger Rhea Ripley reacted to the news that they will be the main event. There is a long history between Rhea Ripley and IYO SKY in WWE, going back to their NXT days. The rivalry has continued on the main roster as well, with the two women being heavily featured regularly on Raw as two of the show's biggest superstars. On the March 3 episode of WWE Monday Night Raw, IYO SKY beat Rhea Ripley to win the Women's World title. Ripley complained that Bianca Belair distracted her in the match. At WrestleMania 41, Sky successfully defended the Women's World title against Ripley and Belair in a match that many people consider one of the best women's matches in WWE history. It's also a contender for WWE Match of the Year. It's impossible to deny the chemistry between Sky and Ripley. That's why it is no surprise that Sky chose Ripley as her opponent at WWE Evolution on July 13 in Atlanta. During the WWE SmackDown broadcast on July 11, announcer Wade Barrett confirmed that the Ripley-Sky match will main event Evolution. Rhea Ripley reacted to the news by sharing a fan video from her NXT days with Sky, who was known as IYO SKY earlier in her career.